All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, that's right, you see it on the screen here, we got to check up on our good buddy Vegapunk. That's right. I don't know what it was, guys, but I was just in the mood to try something different. Maybe I've been in the mood to play leaders that don't attack lately. How odd is that? Generally speaking, I don't like those kind of leaders, but I guess I've just been in one of those moods. I think that's a good way. I have to preface this video real quick in the front here with, if you're struggling with playing the game because you just don't like how the meta is currently, a lot of people feel that way. You're not alone. But a good way to get around that without having to deal with like severe burnout or anything like that is try a totally crazy, kooky, off-the-wall, off-meta rogue leader. Just have fun. Just have fun with it. And that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. Excuse me. We're going to be doing that in today's video with Vegapunk. So let me break down the video real quick. Very standard layout. We're going to be checking out the deck list first. Okay, and then after that, we're going to check out 5 games on the sim, and then we're going to wrap things up by, I'll recap the leader and tell you guys what I think about it moving forward. Okay, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Alright guys, let's go ahead and break down the deck list for today's video, starting off with the leader. Vegapunk is a 2-life, 5,000 power mono yellow leader with Egghead and Scientist type, and it has this leader cannot attack and activate main once per turn. You may pay 1 to place up to 1 cost 5 or less card with the Egghead type from your hand face up on top of your life or into play. Okay, so now we're going to go through each card in the deck. If you're a newer player, be sure to pause and read each one of these because I'm going to mouse over each one of them as we go over them. Okay, so we're running 4 Lilith, we're running 2 Bonnie, running 4 Edison, 4 Frankie, 2 Vegapunk, 3 Satori, 4 Atlas, 4 Shaka, 4 Pythagoras, 4 York, 4 Nami, 2 Ace, 4 I Quasar Help, or it's called Please Save Me on the sim, 3 Dareshi, and 2 Egghead stages. Excuse me. So, what are we trying to do with this list? I have put out a video on this, I think about a few months ago, I think, and I will try to remember to link that in the comment section below for the people who want to see more on this leader. But the idea still remains the same. This is a more aggressive version of Vegapunk we're going to be looking at today. I think back in OP08 and 9, this leader was built in a more of a controlling way. Maybe it was OP07 and 8, but this leader, people used to build it in a more controlling way, where you would just stall out, go to the late game, and then go from there after dropping, Yamatos and massive characters, kind of doing a stall strategy where you don't really attack into your opponent's life. You just push everything out of the way, make it to the late game, start dropping down Katakuris, pushing cards into your opponent's life, dropping down Yamatos to gain life, and then KOing your opponent's characters and going from there. But I think it was sometime around OP10 or OP9, OP09 or OP10, when people started building Vegapunk in a much more aggressive way. That kind of became the new norm, and I like that direction a lot more. I'm actually a much bigger fan of the more aggressive version of Vegapunk, and that's what we have here today. So the idea behind this deck when it comes to going first or second is this. I think we prefer to go first, okay? Now, we can go second as well. I'll explain that curve in a minute. But going first, I think you should probably go for something like this. Turn 1 with your leader effect, you can play out any of these 5 cost targets here, like Shaka, Pythagoras, York, or Atlas. Those are the 4 main targets. That's 16 cards that you'll have access to that you want to slam down as soon as possible. Now, if you're looking for a specific card, you can play the Lilith out for that cost. But I like to save, Lilith for later in the game. I like to use this card a little bit later in the game. But either way, you can do that if you need to. So, let me say this. Going first with this version of the deck, you're going to want to play out, let's just say, Shaka, Pythagoras, York, or Atlas. Then on turn 2, when you have 3 Dawn, there's a really nice play that I came across. Excuse me, guys. There was a really nice play that I came across with Jory Bonnie on our turn 2 play going first, and it looks like this. So turn 1, let's just say we got down the York or the Pythagoras here. So what we can do with 3 Dawn on the next turn is we can use our leader effect to cheat out the Bonnie for 1. Okay, cheat the Bonnie out for 1, and then attach 1 Dawn to Bonnie, and now we still have 1 Dawn for the turn to swing for 7. Or we could leave the Dawn active and use it for this event later, on our opponent's turn if we need to. But being able to swing in for 7k on turn 2 with this Bonnie on the board is a very, very strong follow-up to going turn 1, 5 cost 6k, you know, being able to potentially draw 2 trash 1 with this effect, and we establish a body, or we end up burning 2 cards from our opponent's hand. So that's what we're going to try to go for going first. The other option is this: if we don't get the Bonnie to follow up with our turn 1 5 cost 6k, okay, then we can play out the stage and then cheat out another 5 cost 6k and go from there. And then after that, of course, you can do whatever you need to from those turns. It really is the turn 1 and turn 2 that are most important for specific pieces here you're looking for when you do your mulligan. Now, going second's a little bit different. I think the best play going second is a much more, how do I say this? It's like a much more utility-based play where, you know, turn 1, you're still going to play out the Pythagoras or the York, whatever 5 cost 6k you can. But then on turn 2, you're going to have 4 Dawn, right? If you can play Lilith plus use your leader effect to cheat out another 5 cost 6k, especially if you can cheat out this Nami to KO whatever they might have played last turn, that is a lot of tempo you can get, because you end up getting a 6k on turn 1 and then a 5k and a 6k on turn 2. Okay, so that's a lot of tempo. Whereas with our going first strategy, we can't quite pull that off, right? With the going first strategy, we develop a 5 cost 6k and then a 3 cost 4k and potentially do some hand fixing, draw 2 trash 1. So I should have said it like that, I guess. So going first, I guess, is more of the utility-based play, whereas going second is the more aggressive board flood way to go. So you can kind of pick and choose which of those you like better. I don't know which one's better, guys, for Vegapunk. Going first, where we get down like a Bonnie or a stage right away and go from there, or, you know, going second, trying to get the Lilith down plus a 5 cost 6k and going from there. It's up to you guys. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Now, some people might be thinking, why am I only running 2 of these Vegapunks? And the answer is this, guys. This is a very good card. It came out in EV02. It's a very good card. It's a solid addition to Vegapunk. But what are we trying to do with this deck? Now, if you're trying to build a more mid-range to control-focused version of Vegapunk, well, okay, you know, this is the card for you, this Vegapunk character card here. However, I'm trying to build a more aggressive version of the list. So this card doesn't really help me at all. It's a good card to have. It has a trigger to draw a card. It's searchable. We can potentially play this out and get out something like Shaka as well, because this is a scientist. Remember, guys, this Vegapunk card here can play out. So it does a top 5 search on play to look for a scientist, and it can play that out with the Vegapunk. So we can play out something like Edison. We can play out York. We can play out Pythagoras and Shaka. And I think, okay, and we can also play out Atlas. So it could come with some decent tempo, but notice at the end here, guys, then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order, and if your opponent has 2 characters or less, discard a card. That's where this card's not very good for what we're trying to do. I don't want to discard any cards, right? Hand management, like card management, hand management for Vegapunk is something you have to learn to... You're going to have to practice that, guys. You're going to have to practice that quite a bit as you're learning this leader. Because you lose cards in your hand very quickly because you're cheating them all out so quickly with the leader's effect, right? Because we're able to play out 5 cost cards for 1 Dawn once per turn. And then we have the 3 cost cards like Bonnie and Lilith. We have cards like the Egghead Stage. We have this 3k counter. We're dumping our hand very quickly, and every now and then we have to counter out to save our cards on the board when they go sideways. Because everyone kind of knows at this point, not everyone, but a lot of people know you don't try to rush down Vegapunk. They're probably just going to flood the board in the process. Because notice this list, guys, every card in here is a trigger except my 5 cost 7k ace. So every time you attack into me, there is a 48 out of 50 card chance that I'm going to hit a trigger. Now, it might not be a very impactful one like this Egghead Stage or something, you know, where it doesn't really help me much, but do you want to take that chance if you're at that point in the game where you're having to try to go for lethal? So, you know, you can't really go for lethal against Vegapunk unless you have a very strong board and you're kind of already winning. So people will go for the board quite a bit, right? They'll attack into my characters, so we're having to counter out. So, that's the thing about Vegapunk is you have to really like protect your board and you have to manage your hand size appropriately, and that's where this Vegapunk character is not great for the direction that I'm building the deck and the direction in the way that I'm playing it. Now I'm still running 2 of them because later in the game when our opponent definitely has 2 or more cards on the board or 2 or more characters on the board, well, then we're okay, right? Then we can play this out and get the full value, do a search, and maybe fix some things, because we can even grab Lilith from the search and do some more searching, develop bodies, and all that good stuff. So I'm only running 2 of these. It's still a very good card, but I don't think we need 4 of them. I just don't think it's necessary for this direction of the deck. Speaking of like hand fixing and cycling and whatnot, guys, we do have 4 Edisons. This is a draw 2, trash 2, as long as you have 2 or less life. Frankie, draw a card, of course, on the trigger, and it's going to play pretty much every single time if you're playing the deck correctly. We do have a draw card trigger on the Vegapunk and is on play, does a lot of searching. Lilith does searching. Jewelry Bonnie, draw 2, trash 1. What else? We have Dureshi to search up almost any card in the deck, other, everything except the aces. So the deck does get through cards pretty quickly, pretty effectively, pretty efficiently. But at the same time, you still have to manage your hand properly. And I think that's the main thing about this deck is getting that perfect balance of when to counter and, like, how do I say this? Staying aggressive, but then knowing when to counter and save your board. Okay? All right. Let's check this out, guys. That's enough yapping about the deck list. Let's go ahead and see this deck in action. All right. First game up we have against Purple Black King. Okay, so the volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Now, guys, we got some pretty decent games lined up for today. First one here is Purple Black King, but then we have Blue Purple Luffy, Blackbeard, Purple Luffy, and then Red Yellow Sabo. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to go first this game, guys, and we're going to go turn 1, playing out a 5-cost, 6,000 power character with our leader's effect, and we're going to pass the turn back, and notice this next turn, we're going to be able to do the play we talked about when we were going over the deck, where we can go for 1 Dawn, play out the Jewelry Bonnie, attach a Dawn, and swing for 7. Okay, so here we go. All right, so they're going to start off with a Searcher here. They're going to search up something with the 1-cost Event Searcher for Animal Kingdom and Big Mom Pirates type. And let's see what they choose to do with the remaining 1 Dawn. Probably nothing else. Yep, they're going to pass it back. Now, here we go, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cheat out the Bonnie here. Notice I'm kind of mousing over everything in my hand right now. I'm trying to figure this out on the fly. I play out the Bonnie, attach a Dawn to the York, swing for 7. If this goes through, I get to draw 2, trash 1. They give me a 2K and a 2K, and I believe I know they have a Who's Who in hand. I think that's what they searched up with the, yeah, notice I just showed it on the right there, guys. They have a Who's Who in hand that I know about. They're going to go 6 and a 6. I have to keep that character alive for now. I'm just going to give them a 2K counter, because now we're kind of in a battle for, it's like a battle of resources at this point, right? Okay, so I use Dureshi to fix my hand here, because I'm going to be able to cause quite a bit of damage here. I'm going to swing for a 5. Okay. And if they counter out of this, then I can do things a little bit differently. Okay, they give me a 2K counter, so I'm actually just going to swing for 6 now. They take it. I can do a draw 2, trash 1. I would like to get that stage down, but I probably could have gotten rid of that card. And I don't think it'd been too bad. So we're going to play out the Shaka here instead. You know, I think I should have gotten rid of the Egghead stage. You kind of reach a point where it's a little too late to play out the stage, but it's, you know, we will have time later on to play it, but there might be more optimal plays to do instead. Because right here, guys, I could just swing 8, swing 10 into this Jack, and if it survives, he would have 1 card left in hand. Okay, so we're going to play out the Lilith here for 3. And then we're going to go ahead and use our leader effect to play out the Jewelry Bonnie for 1, attach a Dawn, and we're going to swing 6. And guys, if they 2K out of this, I think there was some logic there. Maybe we should have attacked into the Jack for 8. Either way, we attack in, we get to do a draw 2, trash 1 because of the Bonnie effect. And now we're going to play out the stage, standing up the Shaka. So like I said, guys, we were going to have another chance to play out the stage, but we probably should have actually committed more into getting rid of that Jack. I think that might have been a slightly more optimal play there. Okay, so we have 2, 4, 6K counter in hand. We have a 6,000 power character that's sideways and a 6,000 power blocker. We're on 2 life. They only have 2 attacks. I think we're going to be doing just fine here. Okay, they use the King to get rid of my Jewelry Bonnie. And I think in this situation here, I think they mess up. Yeah, I don't think they should have done that, guys. They should have just used their leader effect to Dawn -2 to -2 to the York, and then they could just turn the Jack sideways, fix a card in their hand, and remove my York no matter what, like where I can't protect it, I can't save it. Or even get rid of the Shaka. Getting rid of Shaka wouldn't have been a terrible call. Then they could swing 5 at life if they wanted, which that might not have been a good call because I could have gotten a trigger body, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so right here, we're gonna use our leader effect. We're gonna play out the Nami. We're gonna go ahead and KO the Scratchman Apu, and now he has 3 life and I have 3 attacks. So I could go swing 7, swing 8, swing 9, or excuse me, I think I can go swing 7, 9, 9. And then if this gets countered out, he'll have 2 cards left in hand, and I can dump everything into attacking into the Jack. So we're going to swing for 7, just in case he has like a Tempest Kick or something on top of his life. We got to be careful. We have to play around that. He sees what's going on here. He decides to just tap out. So if he had taken that, then we were just going to go for the swing 9. I think just swing 9, swing 9. Because I could put 3 on Shaka and 3 on, hang on, 3, 2, no. So I would have had to go swing 7, 8, 9. Because understand, guys, if he doesn't lose from the attack, well, then I'm in trouble, right? By the way, he would have, because notice this, guys, we swung for 7. He has a 1K in hand. He'd get a 2K. Then we would swing for 8. And remember, we'd see ended up at the end of the turn with the Egghead stage. And then we would swing for 9 with York, and he just wouldn't be able to get out of any of it because he would only have enough to, to get out of an 8K after drawing from the 8K attack. Drawing the card from his life. Y'all know what I mean. So in this situation here, I was going to leave 1 Dawn active after swinging for 7, 8, 9. And then I would stand up the Shaka at end of turn. So I have a blocker and I have 1 Dawn active for my 1 cost 3K counter. And I have a 2K and a 1K in hand. So I would have been completely fine. Either way, good game to my opponent. Again, they had one major play mistake that I think could have at least bought them 1 more turn. They still might not have won, but it would have bought them 1 more turn right here. Instead of swinging in 8 into my 6K body where I can counter out of it, they should have just done a Dawn -2 with their leader effect to give -2 cost to my York. Or like I was saying, I think getting rid of the Shaka is probably the better call here. So -2 cost to the Shaka, and then tap down the Jack to KO it and cycle a card out of their hand. Because look at their hand at the end here, guys. They could have cycled out one of these cards for sure, and that would have probably been a lot better for them. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Again, good game to my opponent. All right, next up we have a game versus Blue-Purple Luffy. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Excuse me. So, guys, I think Vegapunk's probably not terrible against Blue-Purple Luffy because we have a lot of ways to get some 6Ks on the board. Now, they're going to get to go first this game. We would have preferred to go first against Blue-Purple Luffy so we could put the pressure on right away. They attack in. We get the Nami trigger. That was really unfortunate, guys. If we could have gotten a 6K trigger, that would have been insane. Now, in this situation here, we have to do things a little bit differently. I think we have to get rid of the Zoro, right? So we're going to play out the Lilith for 3, and then we're going to play out the Nami here with our leader effect, cheating it out with our leader effect to get rid of this Zoro Juro. We can't let them have that. Okay, they're not allowed to have that. All right, so here we go. Now we have a 4 cost in our trash, by the way. They're going to swing 9 into 4, and we're going to go, okay, sure, I'll draw 2 trash too. I guess so, and I only lose 1,000 power to stop that attack. Seems good, right? That seems really good. The Pythagoras is really nice if you can get an Edison or a Frankie in your trash. It's actually really, really nice. Okay, so we're going to swing in for 6, then we're going to swing in for 7, then we're going to swing in for 7 more, and then we're just going to go ahead and use leader effect to play out another character here. Okay, going to play out the Atlas. Very nice. And now this turn here, they do get some pretty good stuff going for them. I think they're going to go ahead and have 7 Dawn active after this 7K attack. They're going to go 7 into 5. It doesn't matter which one they attack into. I guess technically it does. Yeah, I wouldn't go. I think they should have swung 7 into my Lilith technically, and then bottom deck the Edison and the Nami in case I wanted to get those targets back with a Iroquois help later in the game. Okay, so we swing for 6. They give us a 1K counter. We're going to go and slam down the Ace here. And we can swing for 8. I think I'm going to swing for 7 and just bluff like I have a 1-cost event. And I'm going to go and play out the Lilith here. And we do search up a 1-cost event. Okay, we were hoping we would get to one, and we did. So that's always nice when that happens. All right, so they're going to go ahead and use their leader effect here. They're up to 8 cards now, but they have no life. They're going to swing 6 into 5. They're going to play out a Katakuri. Okay, well, now we just have to do a turn of poking. Now watch this, guys. Now watch this. We have to do some poking here. And that's going to, and whatever answer they give me is going to determine everything, right? So at first I thought maybe I'll swing for just everything on this ace and just get the Katakuri out of the way. But watch this, guys. Swing 6, block. Okay. Well, now you're going to get hit with swing 6 more, and I can't survive on the crackback anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and swing for 15 and call it a day. They had nothing in their hand. I knew when they didn't take that first 6, or excuse me, when they didn't 1K counter or 2K counter out of the first 6K, I knew they were in trouble, right? And it's like, okay, we're just going to go all in. Either way, good game to my opponent. You do have to read the board, guys. Understand, like, let me go back to the beginning of this turn. We can't really survive this crackback, right? I mean, I guess maybe we could have. We could have played out a Lilith for 3 and searched for a Shaka, put that into the top of our life, or even actually just play out the Shaka. Because let me see, we had 10 Dawn, so it would have been 3 Dawn on the Lilith, right? 3 Dawn to play out the Lilith, excuse me. We need 1 Dawn for our Vegapunk to put Iroquois our help into the top of our life, and then we would still have 5 for the Shaka and 1 for bluffing another 1-cost event, or something along those lines. Maybe we don't put the 1-cost Iroquois our help into our life. We could put something else in there, like the Lilith or something like that. Either way, really good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Blue-Purple Luffy is not an easy matchup for this deck, but it's definitely very much a winnable matchup for Vegapunk. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next, we have a game versus Blackbeard. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Now, against Blackbeard, I think we want to go first. We don't want to let them draw, or excuse me, we don't want to let them establish anything right away. We would rather establish a threat first. And now, see, now that we have a 6K on the board, now they have to go, okay, do I want to go turn 1 Lafitte or turn 1 Full of Lead, turn 1 Event, and all this other stuff? They have nothing on the board, though, right? And that's kind of what we're going for here. And the nice part is we have 2 4-cost cards in our hand that we can use to counter out to protect the Pythagoras, so that when they do finally get rid of Pythagoras, we can get those cards back from our trash. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a 6K attack in here. Actually a 7, because I'm going to play out just something else for 1. This will probably go through. Okay, yep, they let that go through. Any trigger? No trigger. We'll play out the Atlas, and then we'll pass the turn. Now remember, guys, Atlas cannot be KO'd in battle. It can still be KO'd by effects. Okay, just to make sure everybody understands that. Now they're going to play. They're going to go ahead and develop a Burgess here, and now they only have 5K. Are they going to attack into me? Okay, not the best call against Vegapunk. Let me tell you right now, guys, attacking into Vegapunk when he's at 2 or less life, like he should be, I wouldn't do that unless you have a way to answer what's on the board. Okay, so right now we just get to attack in a bunch of times here. I'm going to use my leader effect. I'm going to put a Frankie into my life here to kind of show that I'm not really, how do I say this? I'm just attacking with what's on the board this turn, guys. I'm just going to swing for 7 3 times and sit on 1 Dawn bluffing a Ira Quasar help. Okay, we're going in for 7. Watch this, guys. He takes it. That's how I know he is in a lot of trouble. Now, I think, unfortunately, he's going to leave the game here, but look at his hand. So he could have done a top 3 search of Full of Lead to start the turn off. Because remember, guys, so I don't know. Let me see if I mouse over his trash. I don't think I do. So unfortunately, I did look afterwards. After stopping the recording, he only had 4 cards in his trash. He doesn't have those Tempest Kicks online. He can't use those to cost reduce. And he doesn't have any way to remove these characters on the board other than attacking into them, right? And he's down to 1 life. And look how much counter he has in his hand, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4K counter in hand. That's it. He only has 4K counter in hand. And look at my hand, guys. I have a 2K, and then 3 1Ks. I have 5K in hand. So if I even survive just one of these attacks, he's probably going to be in a lot of trouble. And the other thing is when he goes to attack into my Pythagoras, I can counter out of it the first time and get out of it like that. And then I can, if they KO it the second time, I can get one of the 4 costs out of the trash that I used to counter out with it, if that makes sense. That was a little bit clumsy. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. This person did leave a little bit early, but I think the idea was, okay, I have to, because of their hand, they could have searched first for sure. And then they could have done a, this is my error to try to find some type of removal. And that would have been their only bet. But think about it, guys. Then they could have only swung in for 6. I'm saving that. And they can go in for 7. I think it was, they could swing for 6 and then 7 if they had done everything perfectly like that. Because if they found a 4-cost removal, like in the form of, what's it called? Black Hole, they could get rid of one of my cards. Well, hang on. No, they can't. Because Black Hole can only hit a 4-cost. Okay, so never mind. I don't know what they were supposed to do here. If you guys can think of something they could have done here other than just loading everything up and going for my board, which, like I said, they would have gotten rid of one of my characters, but not one of the other ones. Because here's how that would have gone, guys. I could have for sure saved it where I had at least 2 attacks next turn, because it would have gone like this. Say they swing for, what could they have gone? 7. They could have gone for, like, I think 8 and 9 is what they could have swung for. And that's developing nothing on the board, by the way. If they swing for 8 into my Atlas first, because I do have more life than them. If they swing 8 into my Atlas first, I will probably just let that card go, right? I'll let that card go, and then when they go to attack into my Pythagoras, I'll literally just do a 2K counter with an Edison, and then the Edison will come into play, and I'll do a draw 2 trash 2, unless they remember to do their leader effect. And now I have 2 attacks for next turn, and they just keep falling further and further behind, because I'm also going to be developing characters along the way. Okay. All right. Either way, good game to my opponent there. It's unfortunate their hand was this badly bricked, but that does happen when you run that many cards that are bricks in the deck. Okay, let's go on to the next one, guys. We got a game versus Purple Luffy. Okay, volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. Okay, it looks like we're going to be going second this game, which is not bad, which is not terrible going second. But we're going to start off by playing out a Pythagoras here. Pythagoras is probably my favorite card to play out other than Atlas on turn 1. But unfortunately, we're just not seeing Atlas early enough. But Pythagoras is not bad either, right? So we get out the Pythagoras on turn 1. They develop a Boncray Bentham. I have to get rid of that card. It cannot stay. We're going to swing 6 into 5. They 2K counter out. We'll play out the Bonnie for 3. We'll play out the Nami and trash a card to KO the Boncray Bentham. And then I get to draw a card from that into an Atlas. Okay, so here we go. They're going to go ahead and swing for 5 into 4 first. Okay, a little bit of a sequencing issue there, huh, guys? A little bit of a sequencing issue there, wouldn't you say? They swung 5 into 4 to get rid of my Bonnie. Sure, I'll let you get rid of Bonnie, because now when you go to attack into my Pythagoras, I'll just replace him with the Bonnie you just got rid of. Okay, so we kind of caught him there, right? We caught him slipping there a little bit. Okay, we get the Bonnie back. Well, now we just get to attack in for 5. Just a quick, here's a poke for 5. Give me a card where I draw 2, trash 1. He just takes it and lets me draw 2, trash 1. We'll take it, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of one of the Yorks here. And now we can just develop the board more, or we could try to go all out and attack into this Sanji, which I do like that since they're tapped out. Yep, so I got a 2K from hand, guys. Always pay attention to what your opponent's countering out with. That was a 2K. Okay, they're going to go 5 into 4. We're going to get the free block off here. Even if they have a rush card in hand, oh well, we're just going to chance it. They play out the Luffy Taro instead, playing out a Sangoro, and here we go. Again, we're just off to the races. 5 into 5. They've got 4 cards in their hand. They gave me a 2K counter. That's 3 2K counters they've had to counter out with for 5K attacks. Now we're going for 7. This will probably go through. Okay, nope. They're going to Gum Giant to try to fix their hand. We'll play out a Lilith, and now we're going to use our leader effect to go ahead and play out a Nami, getting rid of the Sangoro. And now we have 2 Dawn active for 2 events. They're in big trouble here, guys. That's going to get out of that attack. Okay, 2K out of that one, and now they can't even get rid of everything on the board, right? They might be able to get rid of one character here, but they can't get rid of anything else. And they also can't just try to rush me down, right, guys? If they attack into me, I could get another trigger to make it even harder to get out of next turn. Okay, so we let go of the Bonnie. I think we could have gotten out of that, but I didn't want to give them the 3K and the 1K. Maybe we should have, looking back, guys, because it was just so, you know, we were in such a commanding position. Okay, so right here, we're just going to start off with a 7K attack and see what they do. Blocker. Okay. Well, now we're going to go in for 9, and now we're going to go in for 10. And, hey, if they got it, they got it, right? It's one of those situations like, you know what? I'll just swing for 9. I'll leave 1 Dawn active. Watch this, guys. They counter out. Okay. I'm very glad I left 1 Dawn active there. We have a 2K in hand, a 3K, and a 1K. Watch this, guys. This person, unfortunately, learns things the hard way. Pause. Let me just explain something right now. My opponent had a very good, they were in a very good position to lock me out of this game. And here's how it would have gone. So the 5K into 5, I let it go. That was a good start to the turn. Now watch this. 6 into 5, I let it go. And they've got the board. Pause. That was the first mistake they made, was to continue to attack into me. Okay? They attack into me. I get a Pythagoras trigger. Okay? If they had not attacked in, I just have nothing on the board and they're at 0 life. Well, I only run 2 aces in the entire deck. I only run 2 ways I can just rush them down in this entire deck. So they should have stopped attacking right there, and I probably would have just scooped it up and said, hey, good game, you got me, right? But instead, watch this. They attack in. Okay, well, I got a trigger. Then they play out the 9 cost 10K Luffy, and I get another trigger. And then they go ahead and tap out. So right here, what we were going to do was we were just going to swing for 5 to get a 2K out of their hand, and then we're going in for 16 into them. They can Gum Giant, getting rid of the other Gum Giant, because they only have 1 Dawn active, right? So get rid of the other Gum Giant. That would put them at 9K. So even if they get 2Ks off of that, which by the way they're not, and we can see the top card of their deck, but even if they had gotten 2Ks out of that, they can't get out of the 16, because that would have only gotten them to 13 if they had gotten what they needed there. So either way, good game to my opponent there. We got one more game to go over. We got a game against Red VS Sabo, okay? Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Yeah, guys, that's one thing you have to really learn about playing against Vegapunk is don't attack once you clear their board. Get set up for the next turn. That's how you got to do it. Okay, so here we go. We're going against Red VS Sabo. They're going first. We're going to be going second here. Pause. This is a great hand. Okay, let me just say right now, guys, going second, this hand is incredible. I have so many options. I could have developed the stage here, but I think developing a body is more important, so I can start putting on the pressure and going from there. And then we can just always play out the stage on the next turn after swinging in and getting our full value in that way. In fact, we're going to talk about that in a minute because I think I do make a slight play mistake on this next turn. Not this turn, but the next turn. Okay, so we play out the Pythagoras. That is an ideal start for us other than Atlas and Pythagoras. Those are the best starts we can get going first or second. Just slam those down as soon as possible. Now, right here, We have an option here to make a really strong play, but unfortunately we don't do it. I think what we should have done here is attach a Dawn to our leader, swing, or not leader, excuse me, to Pythagoras, swing for 7, establish the stage, and then for 1, just play out the Lilith, okay? That's what the play should have been, but watch what we do instead. Like I said, we had a lot of different options here. What would you do in this situation, guys? We have a lot of different options. We can also play out Dareshi and still play out a 1-for-1, play out a 5 cost if we search 1 up. Okay, we attack in for 6. They take it and they get a Morley trigger. That is really unfortunate. So we play out the Lilith here, and then we pay 1 and play out the Shaka. We searched up the Shaka with the Lilith, and this is not bad. Now we have 3 bodies on the board, whereas the other play would have only had 2 bodies, but we could have stood up our Pythagoras and gone from there. Okay, let's see what they choose to do next here. I'm going to counter out of wherever he goes here once, just to get the Edison in the trash, in case he does take out my Pythagoras. Okay, so I think they had a slight blunder there. I think they should have swung for 7 into Pythagoras. We still gave him a 2K either way. It's all we could counter out with. But I think he should have technically swung for 7 into my Pythagoras. Okay, so they used the Nami here. I think they're about to use the effect. They accidentally hit attack instead of use the effect. So they're going to attach a Dawn to the Luffy, because they had to get him to 7 to push him into life to attack in here. We let that happen. We get the Edison out of our trash from the on-KO effect. We have to trash some cards. And I think now that I've missed that opportunity to play out the stage, we just get rid of it this game. I need to keep as much counter power and searcher power in my hand as I can. Okay, so we go ahead and we save the Edison there with the 2K counter. We're going to go 7 into 7, and we're just going to get every single card out of their hand right here. We're going to go 7 into 7 3 times if we have to, and I'm going to make it where they have 0 cards in hand. Because I don't want to attack into them anyway right now, right? They have a, there we go, they let it go. I don't want to attack into them because it will give them the 5-cost Luffy. We don't want to give them that. Okay? So right here, we're going to play out the Vegapunk. We're going to search up a scientist here and put it into play. And my opponent does have 2 or more characters on the board, so we don't have to trash a card. We get an Atlas, and now we're just going to pass the turn. So it's unfortunate we had to do things in that specific order, but, you know, you do what you got to do, right? You do what you have to do. All right, now right here, I think they play out a Zeus, guys. I'm going to spoil it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Zeus in Red Yellow Sabo, but at the same time, I do understand the need to use it, especially in the current meta. Being able to hit a 5-cost target is a really big deal. They get rid of my Atlas. That's gone now. They slam down the Luffy again. They're going to swing for 7 the right way this time. That's right. They learned from the last time. We're going to push that card, or we're going to block with the Vegapunk, and now they're just going to push that Luffy back into their life. They're back up to 4 life now, and now they're going to be able to swing for 6 into whatever they want. Actually, they might be able to swing for 7 if they use their Namis here. Okay, they're going to go 7 into 5. We're just going to let it go. We don't care about the card that much, right? We don't care about that card that much. We're going to start off with a Dareshi search here. And then it looks like we're going to play out a Lilith, do some more searching, guys. Oh, nice. The Jory Bonnie. That's a really good pickup there. And we still have our leader effect, guys. We still have our leader effect. I think I make somewhat of a play mistake here. I think I should have paid 1 and played out the Jory Bonnie and then swing for 5, swing for 6 to draw some cards here and get some stuff on the board, give him some targets to attack into and go from there. But I don't want to give him this Luffy back. You know, that's the other thing that's going through my mind is I don't want to give him this Luffy back. We can always play out the Bonnie next turn when we can establish a lot of tempo. Okay, so we have the Nami here. Now we have another Nami on the board. They cannot attack in with Ace, remember, guys, and he did not want to attack into me to give me a possible trigger. This Red Yellow Sabo player is playing correctly into Vegapunk, not attacking into my life until he's ready to OTK me, because I will. I will take that hit, guys, because I can gain a life back the next turn with my leader effect. Okay, we're going to swing for 5. We're going to swing for 7. Okay, and then I think we're going to swing for 7 more. We're going to leave our blocker active. We don't want to take any chances against any kind of red decks that can go super explosive with, with their turns where they can attack it with a lot. We're going to play out a Nami here. We're going to KO the Ace. We're going to get the cycle out of card, and then we're going to pass. Pause. So we could have done things slightly in a slightly different way here. I think we actually could have had a slightly more optimal play in this situation where, so we had 5 Dawn left, right? We could have played out the 3-cost Bonnie first. Let me go back just a little bit here, guys. All right, here we go. So what we could have done, let's go back to the very beginning of this turn because it is important to kind of talk about. All right, so right here, we're going to attack in for 5 with a Lilith. All right, so hang on. So now it's back to our turn. We're up to 9, or we're up to 10 Dawn for the turn. What I think I should have done in this situation was actually play out the Bonnie for 3 and attach a Dawn. So that's 4 Dawn taken up. And now I can just poke him down from there. I don't have to swing for 7s. I'm not in any rush to beat him. But for 4 Dawn, I play out the Bonnie, and then I start swinging for 5s and 6s across the board, right? Then afterwards, I can finish up my turn by replacing like maybe the Lilith or the Edison that's on the board with the Nami in my hand to KO the Ace and gone from there. So that turn there was not as optimal as it should have been. Okay, let me go and go forward now. So we did things the way we did, and then we get rid of the ace with the Nami, and we pass it back to them. All right, so here we go. They're on a 10 Dawn turn. We know they have a 5-cost Rush Luffy. We have a blocker, 2 life, and a pretty decent amount of counter power in hand. We have 2, 3, 4, 7k counter in hand with 2 life and a blocker. So we're not really in jeopardy of losing the game right here, but let's see what they can try to make happen. They can try to eat our board up. That's what I would do in this situation, by the way, guys. I would just swing some 7s into the board here. Or actually, I'd probably swing 8s because I have a 6k blocker. They swing for 7 into 5. Okay, well, if that's the case, I'll just block in 2k, and I still have my 1-cost 3k, and I have 2 1ks in hand. So I'm probably, realistically, only going to lose 1 character this turn, even if he has the 2-cost Luffy to cheat out this Luffy back on the board with. Okay. So they do exactly that. They play out the 2-cost Luffy, playing out the 5-cost Luffy from their life, and let's see what they choose to do now. They're going to go 8 into 6. Well, we're going to give them the 1-cost 3k, and now we can only lose just, what, 1 more character, right? We can only lose 1 character on the board now. Actually, the more I think about it, they might be able to get rid of one of my other characters if they load 2 up onto the Zeus and use a Nami's effect. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Very well played. They still have both Nami effects, excuse me. So they can swing 7 into 5, so I'm going to have to let that go. Very nice. Okay, well played by them. But now they're a 7,000 power leader. So I'm going to go 5 into 4 to start this turn off. That card's gone. And now we're going to go some 6s into 6 here, right? Because their leader's 7. So why would I want to go into that, right? First, we'll swing 6 into it and hopefully get cards out of hand. Now we'll swing 6 more into it. More cards out of hand. Now we get to play out the Nami. Actually, we'll play out the Lilith first. We'll go and grab a Dareshi. Oh, excuse me, we can't grab Dareshi. Look at that. I was even trying to click it. Hopefully you guys saw I was trying to click it. But now we grab an I Requires Our Help. We play out the Nami, cycling out the Pythagoras to draw a card and get rid of the Luffy there. Now we have the stage, and they're just going to go ahead and concede there. It was pretty much over. I guess they could have tried one more turn, but I think the idea is they can't realistically go for lethal. They saw me search up I Requires Our Help. It's not a bluff this time, so they would have to get through 3 attacks, right? So their leader, they do have Kid and Killer in their hand, and then one of these Namis would have to make their way through, and that's also depending on what I get from my life. But guys, look at my life. Hey, there's my 5-cost aces, but how are they supposed to know that? They might have thought my life cards would have triggers in them. I would have thought the same thing. How is it that 2 out of my 50 cards, both of them are in the, 2 out of my 50 non-trigger cards are both my last 2 life. How funny is that? All right, good game to my opponent. Let's check out the deck list one more time. All right, guys, well, here it is in all its glory, good old Vegapunk. This is a fun leader. When this leader first came out, I was very much against this kind of leader even being in the game. Not because I'm like the fun police over here. It's not that I don't like seeing fun stuff, but it's just a weird thing to try out, especially this early in the game's life. This was all the way back in, this is in OP07. Now, notice it says block 1 on this picture on the sim. It's not a block 1 card. It's a block 2 card. But still, this was a card, a leader that came out just in block 2 of the game being, of its, this game is still in its infancy. Even now, I'd consider it that, guys. This game's only about 2 years old. It's going into its 3 years, right? Or is it 3 years going into its 4? I've lost all track of time now, guys. Hang on. Whatever the case is, this game is still very young, right? And it's like, leaders like this, I think they can wait. They could have waited a little bit, to introduce something like this a little bit later. Either way, the leader's fun. It is pretty viable right now, all things considered. I think it has a decent matchup in anything that's trying to be controlling. Like, I think against Blackbeard and, like, Blue-Purple Luffy, I think the deck's actually kind of decent. It's probably not too bad. And if you can, get to your Namis, you can remove a lot of the early threats from the other decks as well. Vegapunk is in a decent spot, but it's also, I don't think it's going to be running away with the meta or anything like that. I'm trying to think. I think, like, Green-Purple Luffy is probably a pretty tough matchup for this leader. I didn't see any when I was doing my games on the sim. I would imagine that's pretty tough. If you guys know of any other leader that's super tough for this leader to deal with, please say something in the comment section below. But, like, something like Blue Buggy, I don't really care too much about that matchup, right? Because I have a lot of 5-cost targets in here. But who knows? Maybe that's also a tough matchup just because of how that deck can bust out some really big characters. And we only can hit things that are 5-cost and lower with removal in the case of Nami. So we'll have to see what happens there. But guys, this is the list, like I said. Who knows? In in OP13, we will be getting access to a new 9-cost Egghead card. Spoiler warning, it is a 9-cost Bonnie, and it seems very strong, and I think it's something we'll be adding to the deck. I think I'm just going to replace these aces with that card, because it's a 9-cost, 10,000 power rush character with on play, your opponent adds the top card of their life to their hand. So it burns a life, and it attacks in, and it's searchable, and it has a trigger to rest to 7 or less. I think if you're at 2 or less life or something like that. So very relevant trigger as well, and it's a really good finisher for this deck. I'll probably go up to 4 of those once we get access to that in OP13. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all thought about this in the comment section below. Very fun leader. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. It's a good time to play. It's also it feels like a nice break to play this outside of the meta stuff going on right now. So it's a much more rogue, fun, friendly pick. All right, till next time, guys. Oh, almost forgot the outro. Whoa, that would have been terrible, right? Hang on, we almost forgot to do the outro there, guys. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff. Guys, if you're using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, part of the Discord community, however you're helping me out, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you're helping out the community in any way, shape, or form, thank you so much as well. All right. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace.